Welcome back to Buy or Buy. Today we're looking at the 2004 to 2009 first-generation Cadillac SRX, a luxury crossover that's secretly a tall, rear-wheel drive Cadillac wagon built on the same Sigma platform as the CTS and STS sport sedans at Lansing Grand River in Michigan. You could get it with a 3.6 V6 making around 255 horsepower or the big upgrade, a 4.6-liter Northstar V8 making 320. Rear-wheel drive standard, all-wheel drive optional, and it actually drove like a sports sedan. So why is it a buy? Because it's cheap to buy for a reason. The Northstar, the parts situation, and a few disconnected bits make this one a money pit waiting to happen.
Northstar V8, 320 horsepower in a rear-drive Cadillac wagon. $45K new, $8K used in 2026. And that low price is the market warning you about the repair bills.
So let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to cover exactly who is shopping for these, dig into the undeniable engineering gems, lay out the critical mechanical issues, and finally, give you our verdict on why you should probably walk away.
All right, Section 1. Who is actually buying this thing, and what else should they be cross-shopping?
You know, this vehicle is basically a magnet for bargain luxury hunters. You're scrolling online, you see a V8-powered, rear-drive luxury wagon for used economy car money, right around that $8,000 mark, and you're tempted, right? It also draws in those hardcore Northstar engine fans. But really, this explainer is for anyone who needs a serious reality check on running costs before draining their hard-earned savings.
Now, if you're seriously looking at an SRX, you absolutely have to cross-shop. If you want the gold standard for reliability, you're looking at the Lexus RX. If you want something sportier, maybe the Infiniti FX or those German rivals like the BMW X5 and Mercedes ML. Sticking with GM, you've got its sports sedan sibling, the first-generation CTS, or maybe a cheaper three-row like the Buick Enclave. And we can't forget the second-generation Cadillac SRX from 2010 to 2016, though keep in mind, that one completely shifted to a front-wheel drive platform.
Bottom line, this thing definitely appeals to bargain hunters craving a V8 rear-drive wagon. But taking a hard look at the cross-shop options reveals much safer, far more reliable alternatives.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, the gems. Let's talk about the absolute temptation of the Sigma platform.
And here is the biggest temptation of all, 320 horsepower. That optional XLR-derived 4.6-liter Northstar V8 with variable valve timing can blast this tall wagon from 0 to 60 in just 6.4 to 6.6 seconds. It pumps out 315 pound-feet of torque and lets you tow up to 4,250 pounds. On paper, it's an absolute powerhouse.
Breaking down the powertrain options, your base engine was the 3.6-liter high-feature V6, making a really solid 255 to 260 horsepower and 254 pound-feet of torque, starting at an MSRP around $38,000. But that big Northstar V8 upgrade, that pushed the price tag right up to about $45,000. Both gave you standard rear-wheel drive, with all-wheel drive optional, and they were paired to a 5-speed automatic, which eventually got bumped to a 6-speed in 2007. Oh, and you could even get MagneRide adaptive dampers.
Underneath that sharp, angular art and science exterior is some serious engineering heritage. Built right in Michigan at the Lansing Grand River plant, it rides on the exact same Sigma platform as the CTS and STS sports sedans. Seriously, the driving dynamics were so good it was winning comparison tests back in the day. Inside, you get a classic mid-2000s wood and leather cabin, some very dated DVD-era tech, an optional and tiny third row, and that massive Ultraview panoramic sunroof. But a quick safety reality check. The IIHS actually found the 2005 to 2008 models to be the worst in class for driver deaths.
Bottom line, the first-generation SRX is a genuinely impressive sports sedan-derived wagon with massive V8 power, and it's plummeted from a $45,000 MSRP down to just $7,000 to $10,000 used in 2026.
But let's jump into Section 3, the issues, because this is where the mechanical trap snaps shut.
This is where we have to pull the rug out. Both of these engines carry critical deal breakers, and the repair bills will instantly eclipse what you paid for the car. On the V8 side, you're looking at severe oil seepage, internal water pump leaks, ignition coil failures, and the legendary head bolt thread failure, which is a $3,000 to $6,000 plus engine out nightmare. Going for the V6 instead?
Well, then you face GM's infamous timing chain stretch. The chains stretch, the guides wear out, you get cam correlation codes, and because it's an interference engine, you're looking at an immediate $2,000 to $3,500 repair bill to avoid total destruction.
Let's actually walk through the fatal sequence of that Northstar V8 because it's fascinating in a terrible way. Step 1. The engine has extreme cooling system sensitivity. Step 2. If it overheats even slightly, the aluminum block threads start to weaken. Step 3. The steel head bolts literally strip out of that soft aluminum and lose all their clamping force. And step 4. The head gasket blows. The only real fix involves drilling out the block to install steel thread inserts. It's a devastatingly expensive repair.
And it's not just the engines. The SRX will bleed your wallet dry in a dozen other ways. For example, the transmission pan on the 5-speed rusts out entirely in salt belt regions. The kicker? Replacement pans are completely discontinued. That massive Ultraview sunroof, it's highly failure-prone, and when it leaks, water pools right into the body, soaking the insulation. Those parts are discontinued too. Add in those expensive MagneRide dampers wearing out and a really thirsty 13 to 15 miles per gallon in the city, and you're just bleeding cash. Bottom line, the catastrophic engine flaws, brutal repair bills, and a growing list of discontinued parts instantly turn this Jeep luxury crossover into a terminal financial disaster.
Section 4. Verdict. Buy. It's simply a money pit waiting to happen.
Listen, the 2004 to 2009 first-generation Cadillac SRX is genuinely tempting. Getting a rear-drive Cadillac Wagon on the CTS platform with an available 320 horsepower V8 for around $8,000 sounds amazing, right? But that low price is the market telling you the absolute truth. Because of the Northstar's vulnerabilities, the 3.6 liters timing chain stretch, worn MagneRide dampers, and discontinued parts like that rusting transmission pan and leaky roof, this car is a buy for almost everyone. The buy-in is incredibly cheap, sure, but the keep-in is completely brutal, and those discontinued parts make some failures literally terminal.
Now, is there an exception? A very narrow one. You might consider buying one if, and literally only if, you find a highly documented, rust-free, meticulously maintained V6 model. It absolutely must have a full service history for the cooling system and timing chains. You have to buy it incredibly cheap, and you must go into it with your eyes wide open and a dedicated repair fund ready on day one.
Bottom line, skip the brutal keep-in costs. If you want a reliable luxury crossover, just cross-shop the Lexus RX. Or, if you're truly dedicated to the Cadillac badge, look at the newer second-generation SRX. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, but I'll leave you with this one final thought. Is the temporary thrill of a 320 horsepower V8 really worth the constant anxiety of a catastrophic $6,000 repair bill hanging over your head every time you turn the key?